Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.
Welcome to Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates. Tonight we have Mr. Harley Culkin, a Pahrump Town Board member for what, almost 2 years now?
A little over 2 years.
A little over 2 years, yeah.
2.5 years.
2.5 years now. Well, it's been a while since we've spoken. You, before you started serving your time as a town board member, were certainly one of the more vocal citizens here in Pahrump. And now that you have been in this position for some time, has it changed your perspective as far as what is best for the town and how you're able to communicate with the constituency?
I would say not really. I used to get a little frustrated before I got elected because when you step up and you want to say something and you feel that what you say has merit and they're not listening to you, it gets kind of frustrating. But now being able to vote on issues and carry forth concerns of the public and everything, of course, makes me feel a lot better about things because I'm actually participating in making Pahrump a better place.
One of the things that, and it's certainly not one of these things that would be entirely up to your decision as far as when you come onto the town board, but was the re-implementation of more time for the public to actually have some time to discuss particular items when the items are being presented.
Well, I used to say before, and I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't follow through with that. I used to say before, if you're in a hurry to get out of there and run through a meeting really quick, then you shouldn't have run for office. So personally, I don't care how long we sit there. And so, I put back, when I became chair, I put back the most public comment allowed by the state of Nevada law. And before we were sort of at the minimum.
Right. So now let me ask you again, because you have a unique perspective, allowing for more public comment time. Have you found that your time in front of the public discussing these items as they come up, during your monthly meetings, do you feel as if it's ever swayed you, or maybe your other fellow board members, where public comment actually, made you feel as if, well, maybe I need to rethink this item?
My final vote's going to be right before I make it, so I'm always open to changing my mind. I'm pretty confident most of my board members, or all of the board members, do the same thing I do. We do a lot of talking with people and research before we come to the meeting. Mm-hmm. That's one of the problems with the public sometimes, is they'll try to come forward at the meeting with something, and it might even be a viable subject, but then you're getting a board member all frustrated at the last moment trying to think of all this stuff, and sometimes a person might be more inclined to go with their initial feelings because you waited too long. People need to, if they have something that takes a little bit of time, they should get a hold of a board member before the meeting and share their concerns so the person has time to digest it and work mm-hmm. with it. But when you're put on the spot, sometimes it backfires on the people, and then they get frustrated.
So again, public comment in your view is one, the right of the citizen, but do you feel as if sometimes those same energies would probably be more useful if they came to you first? And if so, why would you increase the amount of time that the public is allowed to speak on an item? Was it simply just allowing for the constituency to be heard?
No, so that we can be more productive. I mean, it certainly has happened numerous occasions and then some, that someone will bring something up to us, and then for myself, I can't speak for all the other people, then I'll say, wait a minute. Like I said, you put someone on a spot, sometimes they're more inclined to ignore you because it's too fast to digest. But what I would do is, I'll say, well, then we should table this to the next meeting and let's look into this. So speaking for myself, if they have something that's really viable, I don't want to be rash and make them a decision. I'd rather just wait 2 more weeks till the next meeting and look into what they said. So it certainly is important for them to come forward, even if it's at the last moment, but it could be more productive if they come earlier and talk to board members. A public person can talk to all the board members they want.
Right.
They can talk to all 5. I can't. I can only talk to 1.
Because of open meeting rules.
And a board member can't tell another board member that, well, so-and-so said this, because then that's called serial communication. Mm-hmm. But a private person can speak to all 5 board members and let them think. So independently, those 5 people will be thinking whatever, and that gives them time to think about what the citizen said.
In your time spent in the last over 2 years, you had said spending on the town board and going through all of these issues and opening for the conversation for more public digest or giving the public more time to actually discuss something in that forum. Have you noticed the issues and the concerns of the citizens have changed? I mean, we still are in very, very volatile times here in Pahrump and in Nye County.
Not really, but naturally, a citizen, so to speak, is just going to be thinking about what's important to them. But as an elected official, I have the responsibility of thinking about what's, important or what's to everybody. Not just a particular group of people.
Right.
So sometimes the public gets mad because they think we're ignoring them, whatever. But I got to look at it, the needs of everybody and what's in the best interest of everybody, not just a specific group. I see things a little change. Sometimes it's kind of comical. It's not so much public comment that takes up the time. The board members are spending an awful lot of time talking back and forth and sharing ideas, because that's the only time we can speak as a whole to one another.
That's true.
And share ideas without breaking the open meeting law. So sometimes it's the board comments really taking up a lot of the meeting time. And sometimes when you get accused of you made up your mind before you got there and you were talking to other board members, I just have to laugh. It's just like you can't win. If we showed up and voted right away without much discussion, then that would seem a viable argument. But when we take all this time to talk about it in front of the public, how could you possibly think that we made some sort of decision before we got there?
So speaking to the other town board members, in your time spent, we've seen some board members come back into service, in Bill Dolan. Do you feel like the makeup today is really being progressive and trying to push the town's agenda forward against a county commission that might not be so used to change?
Personally, I feel that my board is still overall a little too patronizing of the county. After all, what did they do? We're suing them because they illegally, we feel, did put something on a ballot that ended up getting passed because of misinformation, in our opinion. And they can't do any worse. They took action to get rid of us. So what is this continuing patronage of these people? I have a real pet peeve with the planning commission. They're not elected people. Mm-hmm. They're picked to serve the will of the commissioners. And all of those people, even the town board person, is who they decide to approve. So they didn't want me on there.
This is something that you've been very vocal about, and we're going to take our first commercial break. We'll come back, we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about question 2, which is also what you're talking about, rendering the town board into an advisory board role. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.